Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. To all our guests, this is another edition of Broken Not Shattered. This evening, we have a very, very special guest who is going to be speaking to us on some very powerful relationship related issues. My guest today from Las Vegas is nobody else but the one and only Ebony Nicole. Hi, Ebony. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great.
Good. So, do you want to introduce yourself to our audience? We have folks from all over the world watching.
Yes, so my name's Ebony Nicole. I go by Coach Mommy Mogul because I am a life coach to moms and mompreneurs. I am an author, I'm a public speaker, mom of four, and a business owner.
Wow. Mhm. Pretty busy, huh?
Yes, busy
Good.
life.
How's life in Vegas?
Las Vegas is good. I mean, I try to stay away from the casino part of it, but for the most part, it's good.
A
I'm
lot of
relocating,
discussion out there.
so yeah.
You said you're what? You're relocating?
I'm relocating soon from Vegas, yes.
Wow. Well, welcome to Broken Not Shattered. This is the BNS podcast. Um, let's start with your intro. Um, Mother of four. How are the kids doing? Everyone doing great?
Yes, everyone is doing great. Everyone's quiet right now, so
Mhm.
my oldest is in school. My other three are haven't started yet. So
Good. The book
yes,
broke down from breakdown to breakthrough. It's your
yes,
book that you just it's a bestseller that's out there that you actually wrote. The story is the story of a young lady who had found herself in an abusive relationship of some sort, and a lot of domestic violence, a lot of struggles, to the point that um, the challenges that you had gone through had led you to emotionally break down, and from then on, um, everything around you kind of starts to crumble. Tell
hmm
us about the story. There are women out there, even men, who might be going through the same thing that would like to hear what you're talking about.
yes. So my book is Breakdown to Breakthrough: 5 Steps to Healing After Mental Breakdown. So I was in a marriage where I was just going through a lot of things, and what happened was I never really addressed anything. I didn't really face a lot of the things, and so later on, after I went through a mental breakdown, I actually had a mental breakdown. For about 3 months, I was just bedridden, unable to take care of myself, unable to take care of my kids, on all type of medication for antidepressant, anxiety. I was having panic attacks every single night, and just not able to do anything. So what led up to that though was me just being in my marriage, and an unhealthy marriage. My husband was at the time was, I want to say, more emotionally abusive than physical abuse. There was a lot of infidelity in the relationship. He began to have a drinking habit, and it was just a lot going on that I didn't address. It's like something would happen, and I would just kind of like keep going. Would taught like be strong, keep going. I would just keep going. Keep going. Never really addressing anything. Never really getting any help with anything that I was going through. And so ultimately what happened was it all just built up. It all just built up, and it just came crashing down. And one night I just found myself literally like balled up in the corner, um, feeling like I was going to die, but I didn't know I was having a panic attack. So
Wow.
yeah, that's how I got there.
And how long that relationship last for, if you don't mind my asking?
My marriage, we were married for 5 years. We were married. Yeah. We were in a relationship for 7 years, married for 5.
Wow. The question I always ask people when I hear the stories, and I can answer it from my own perspective, but I always ask others, is obviously there's two stories to every story, two
Mhm.
sides to every story.
Yes.
Um, and so we're going to respect his side of the story. We'll focus on your side of the story. is did you not see the red flags going in? That's the
Oh,
question I always ask. Because I read something you wrote, and you, in your writing, you said that from the time you came back from the hospital, that your ex did not want to be a father. He didn't want to take up that responsibility. And I'm not trying to make a pass for him because I don't know the situation. But sometimes most men don't know how to be fathers because they were never fathered, especially in the African American community. You see a lot
yes.
of that happen. There were no father figures for them. No one took responsibility. They saw their mom step up and doing everything, and so they don't know what to do because sometimes we are actually we're creatures of habit. It's what you see that's what you quickly embrace.
Yes.
That's your reality. So did you not see that before you went in?
So honestly, I talk about this too in the book. There was red flags. There were that I ignored. Um, there was I'm really spiritual. I have a relationship with God, and I even felt like God told me some things, and I was just like, "Oh, how could that be? He hadn't exhibited that behavior to me or done anything for me to doubt anything." And so I was just like, well, maybe I'm hearing wrong. I'm going to
Yeah,
take these red flags and I'm going to make a beautiful
yeah.
blanket.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been there myself.
Yeah, so I'm really honest about that. I take full like accountability as far as just being in a relationship with him, marrying him, going as far as I did because there was red flags, and I also feel like I was in a really vulnerable state when I met him. When I Now that I'm able to step back and just kind of look at the entire situation, I'm looking at his mother, I'm looking at his father, I'm looking to see how they interact with him. And for sure, I believe that he is definitely, a creature from habit as far as how he saw his mother being treated by his father. Definitely, yes. So there definitely were red flags, yeah, that I chose to ignore.
Right. So what would you now say to the next woman who's going, or the next man who's going into a relationship? Can I say this man thing because I had some red flags and I ignored them, and
Yes.
those red flags became very blatantly louder than ever eventually. But yeah, how do you now overcome? What do you tell the next person when they go into a relationship and they see red flags? Do they address the red flags before they go in, or should they just walk away once they see them? I mean, what would be your take?
It
You're the
really
advocate
depends.
now.
Yeah, it really depends on what you are willing to accept and not accept as a person, what your boundaries are. My thing is, if you see the red flags, they definitely need to be addressed. And if it's something that you're just like, I'm not going to deal with this, then I would just say walk away. We can't change people. I mean, people are who they are, especially as we get older. People are already set in their ways.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no one can change a person but God, and that person has to have a willing heart to want to change. So, if you see red flags, definitely pay attention to them. There's this saying where people say, people show you exactly who they are, like believe them. Like believe them. Don't make excuses for people because oh, he like with my ex, he was such a supportive person. He was like my number one fan, and I had never had a man support me the way that he supported me in my dreams and my goals. And I feel like I put that on a pedestal. So anything else that he did, it's kind of like I looked over it because he was so supportive, of my dreams and my goals. And so I looked past all of that. But now when I'm looking back, I'm like, clearly God told me he was a liar from the beginning. Um, this the way the relationship he had with his father, with his mother, all which is important to me. I had a great relationship with my parents. I grew up in a great household with an amazing father. I have amazing men in my family. So for me, that's a red flag. If I see you don't have a great relationship with your father, your mother, that's a total red flag where I probably would walk away because that's not something that can be fixed easily. That's like a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of stuff that have to be dealt with for that to be fixed. So it just really depends on what the red flag is, what you're willing to tolerate.
Mm. So, hmm, trying to. ask this question in the smartest way possible. Um, so, for the man who doesn't have a very healthy relationship with his family,
Mhm.
um, but was very supportive, very supportive to Ebony, to the point
Mhm.
that Ebony herself put the young man at a pedestal. There's a good side to him.
Mhm.
There was
Yes.
something he brought to the table that you lacked,
Right.
right? So
Mhm.
is it mostly us seeing the red flags, or is it us working on ourselves first to make sure we're whole enough to go into a relationship?
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
question. What would you tell the audience? What would you think is more important? Is it is it us working on ourselves first, or is it checking out what's in front of us?
Oh, it's definitely working on yourself first. That's the most important thing. You can't expect someone to give you what you can't give yourself. And oftentimes, a lot of people are searching for things in relationships that you don't even have that. You aren't even that. I
Yes.
know that going forward, like right now, I'm not dating at all because I know the type of man that I do desire. I am nowhere ready to be with that type of man.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times, people say, oh, for example, I want a man that works out. I want a man that's fit. But then you don't work out, you're not fit. You want a man that's financially stable, but you're not financially stable. I'm really big on getting yourself together, making sure that you're right, and at least that you are what you are asking for, what you're looking for. So I definitely think getting yourself together is more important than pursuing a relationship because both of you will be better off forward if you have your stuff together, that person has their stuff together, then you can come together and build something great. But if you're broken, still don't have it figured out, still trying to see what you want to be when you grow up and you get into a relationship, um, you're going to bring a lot of baggage. You're going to break that person, man or woman.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, you can't give what you don't have, and
Yes.
we can't expect anybody else to give. I remember not too long ago I had an opportunity to sit down with a bunch of ladies, and I was kind of talking to them about their expectations. And I told them to write a list of all the things they want from this great guy that they'd like to be with, and they wrote very lovely things. And I
Hmm.
turned around and said to them, "See everything on that list? You be that first.
Yes. Yes.
Be everything on that list first. And once you're that, that guy can spot you out. And until then,
Yes.
you're just going
I
to be a
agree.
problem. Yeah, you're going to be a problem. So I agree with you. Wow. Let's talk about mental health.
Yes.
How does mental health impact people in today's society? And what is mental health? When when people talk about their mental well-being, um, there's a stigma around it, especially in certain communities or certain um, races, especially us that are African American or black. And people don't talk much about mental health issues. Why?
I feel like with the stigma in the Black community, when you talk about mental health, the first thing people say, oh, they're crazy, the crazy uncle, the crazy auntie. They look at it as something that is negative, and that's just how it's been. Like, you don't talk about your feelings. You keep everything to yourself. You don't talk about what's going on in your household. That's how we were brought up. A lot of, in the Black community were brought up, and men don't cry, and
Mhm.
so, and if you do, it's a problem. If you tell something that's happening to you outside of your household, even if it's something bad, it's a problem. You're the problem. So I think that's why in our community it's not really talked about a lot. But it's definitely something that it can just make or break you. I feel like mental health, if you're not mentally stable, if you're not mentally well, you are not going to be successful in anything that you try to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have. you're always going to hit a wall if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not sitting down with yourself, if you're not looking to see like, issues that you have, habits, just really just sitting down with yourself, then you're going to have an issue in whatever you try to do.
Wow, that's very important. I completely agree with you. Um, yeah, if your mental well-being is not intact, then everything else, chances are going to fall apart. Um,
Yes.
so, what's the advice? What's the suggestions? What should people do? What are the top
First,
five things or four things anyone should do to ensure that they're mentally sound or
first off,
emotionally?
slow down. I would tell people to slow down. I feel like we're in such a the society is like go go go, hustle hustle hustle, you got to be out here doing things, and it's like slow down. I was just like out there doing everything. I've been there where I'm like, a mom, my kids are in sports, I have the business, I have all these things going on. Oh, excuse me, one moment. I think I have a phone going off. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break while you get rid of that, and we'll be back in
Thank
a few minutes. All right.
you. Okay.
Welcome back to Broken Not Shattered. My guest today is Ebony Nicole. Ebony is a mom, a coach, and she is also an advocate for domestic violence and mental health. She is a speaker and a bestseller of a great book uh, called From Breakdown to Breakthrough. Welcome back, Ebony.
Thank
All
you
right.
for having.
So yeah, so we were talking about the tips you'll give to anyone who you're coaching as a coach, especially the moms that you work with,
Yes.
um, on how to take care of themselves. The first thing you said was slow down. What's the second one?
Yes. Slow down. And the second one would be to focus on yourself. This one is I get a lot of controversy over this one, especially from moms, because I'm really big about putting yourself first. And I know that as moms, we are taught that, your kids come first, everybody comes first before you. But I feel like if you're not good, if you're not in good space, then you're not going to be good to anybody else.
That's good.
I know when I was not in a good mental space, I was not the best mom. I couldn't be there for my kids. I was angry all the time. I was triggered very easily by just the littlest thing that they could do. So I'm really big on putting yourself first. And how I do that is I make sure that I'm taking care of myself, make sure I'm taking time for myself. I have a really busy schedule, so I have to schedule in time for myself. I put it on my calendar. Like I section off, do time blocks, 1 hour, this is what I'm going to do. Even if it's just reading a book, going outside for a walk, watching TV, I schedule everything in. I schedule my self care in like I schedule a doctor's appointment because it's that important to me. So
Wow.
that's the second thing that I do tell, women and the moms that I work with to put yourself first. If mom's not happy, everyone else is going to be miserable.
And what's the next one? Two things. What else?
And then the next thing is to don't be afraid to ask for help,
Mm.
to get help. Don't be afraid to admit that you're not okay. A lot of times there's this responsibility or this stigma that's put on mothers or even women, just people in general, that you have to be strong. Like a lot of people used to always tell me, oh my gosh, you're so resilient because of everything that I had been through. And like it's a badge of honor. But honestly, I wasn't dealing with anything. So, yes, I showed up looking strong. I showed up looking fearless, resilient. But at the end of the day, I had so much junk, so much toxic stuff going on inside of me because I didn't deal with it. I didn't ask for help. I felt like I had to just do everything. And when I realized that it's okay to ask for help, there's people actually out there that want to help you, that God has placed in your life to help you. But we're too busy trying to act like we have it all figured out that we don't ask for the help. So that would be my third thing, is to ask for help.
Let's stay there for a second. Why do people think they can't ask for help? Is it because they don't want to look vulnerable? I mean, what is it? You're a mother, right? So
Yes.
why would a mother not reach out to say, or a woman not reach out to say, I need help with this? Is it society again? Making us feel like, oh, if women say that, then it makes them weak. Is it the whole women's liberation thing? I'm trying to figure out why.
Yes. So there's many factors to it. I know that for me personally, I deal with a lot of pride that I had to really just pray about and really just break that off of me. But it was a lot of pride of I grew up like in a household with, my father, and I grew up as the only child, and I always wanted to make my dad proud. And I'm just like, okay, for some reason I had in my head that he didn't have a boy, he wanted to have a boy. I needed to just like do everything I
Yeah.
can to make him proud. And so I didn't exhibit any signs of weakness. It's not something that my father put on me or anything. It was just in my head. If I show up and if I say that I need help, or if I exhibit any sign of that, that shows a sign of weakness if I need help. So with me, it was a lot of pride. I also know that, and not in my case, but in a lot of women's cases, when they have asked for help,
Hmm.
they're looked down on, they're weak, they're needy. Like, why can't you do this? They get a lot of backlash I see on social media when people are asking for help, and when moms are asking for help, they get a lot of backlash. And then I think also social media just makes everybody looks like they just have it going on, like their lives are perfect. And so
Yeah.
people often compare themselves to everybody else, thinking like, oh my gosh, like if I don't look like them, or if my life isn't like their life, then something's wrong with me. And then don't want to say anything. I think a lot of people are living false lives.
Very false
Um,
lives.
so they can't say they need help, because how do you need help when you show up looking like you have it going on all the time?
That's
But
correct.
now you're asking for help. And so I think people are living these like false lives and not being their true honest self. And so
Mhm.
to ask for help will put the spotlight on them, like, okay, they really don't have it going on. They really don't have it all figured out. They really are struggling. And it's sad to say, but people are still worried about what someone else thinks of them.
Yeah, the self image and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I tell folks all the time it's okay not to be okay. Truly, it's okay.
Yes.
Look, people can't help
Yeah.
everybody, people can't help your perception, right? They can't help your self image. They can only help the truth of what you're actually dealing with. And if you're going through something and you can't reach out to anyone, don't expect anyone to understand. Nobody has time to sit down and read people's mind and trying to figure out what's going on with you in a very fast-paced world that we live in. So if you
Mhm.
really need someone's help, reach out. And two
Yes.
things can happen. Either they say yes or they say no. And if they say
Right.
no, you move on to the next person because there's someone out there who has been placed to help support you. But what I also say is when people start helping you, never take them for granted
Yes.
and
Yes.
don't start making them become a crutch that you always have to lean on.
Yes,
You have
that's good.
to find that balance. It's very, very important. It's
Yes,
very,
that's good.
yeah, yeah. Wow. So you coach moms. Do you coach dads? Someone just asked the question.
No, no, just moms. Yeah.
Okay. And how old are the women that you work with? Young mothers, older mothers? It doesn't make a
So
difference.
right now, my main target audience that I'm working with right now are about 30, I want to say like 30 to like 50. I have younger moms that have reached out that I help, but really anyone who reaches out for help. And I sit down, talk to them, see if there is something that I can do for them, see, if we're a good fit before I even take them on as a client.
And how did they get to find you? I mean, outside of social media, how else can they find you?
So, I mean, I have my website, coachmommymogul.com. I'm out networking all the time. A lot of the people find me though from word of mouth. People just refer people to me. Yeah.
Is it a paid service?
So my life coaching, yes, it is a paid service. Yes.
And how does that work? Just share with the audience. Tell them. Let's talk
Oh,
about
I
your business.
Yes, so Yeah, because I have 2 businesses. So, yeah, this business as far as the life coaching, helping the moms. So what it is, it's a program that I have, and it's broken down into sessions. So we basically it's a 3-month program. We meet every other week, and we go over just your goals, like what you want to do, who you wanna be, and we deal with a lot of breaking off, your mindset, your negative mindset. We talk about trauma, things that have happened to you that may be causing you not to become the person that you want to be.
Mhm.
And then we go into like basically a plan of action to create, new habits and new things for you to do so you can begin to shift into the person that you want to be. And I'm really big, like I always tell people, I have like a 100% success rate because I'm really I want to say I'm really hands on. Like we really dive deep. It's not just surface level. Oh,
Wow.
I want to be a better mom. Okay, well, this is what you do. Cook your kids 3 meals out of the day. It's not surface level. It's really just digging deep. I always, recommend therapy for my clients. Like I'm really about seeing what's in you, what's causing you, what's stopping you, and not putting the blame on anyone else. It's you. We
Mhm.
focus. We stay in the you. I don't use. I have my clients. I tell them you can't use statements like they, him, she. Once they start doing that too much, it's like cut it off. Stay in the you. What is your
Mhm.
part in it? What was your
Yes,
responsibility in it?
the
I
I.
feel yes, the I. I feel like that is how you really that's what's going to help you. Not yeah, they may have hurt you, they may have did this and that, but at the
Right.
end of the day, bring it back to yourself.
Yes, that's true. Wow,
Yes.
that's good. Is it virtual or does it have to be in person? How do you meet?
It's virtual. Yeah, I take in person and virtual. Most of them are virtual though because I have clients all over.
Awesome, awesome. That's good. All right. So, where can people find you, Ebony?
So
Ebony.
my
So it's Coach Mommy Mogul.
yes, it's Coach Mommy Mogul. So Coach, and then Mommy MOMMY MOGUL.com.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting stuff going on here. Okay, let's use the next few minutes to talk about something that I read in your bio. I'm gonna
Yes.
read. I'm gonna quote what you said. A given
Okay.
quote for me is, "You've been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved." Explain.
Yeah. So me personally, I feel like I've been through so much, especially over the last couple of years, just court cases up and down. I feel like we go through a lot of things in our life and it's easy to be like this isn't fair. Why is this happening to me? But I feel like early on God showed me that the things that we go through is not always about us. Yes, he's using us to go through it, but really it's to help the next person. And that's why I said you're assigned this mountain, you're assigned whatever it is you're going through, as hard as it may be. This is your assignment, so once you get out on the other side, you can show others that it is a way out. There is
Wow.
light at the end of the tunnel. You do come out victorious. I always say when I'm posting and I share a lot about the things I'm going through because that's just who I am. I always say, how do you know that you can get over it? Because I am the evidence. How do you know that you can get out of an abusive relationship, leave with nothing, start over again, and create a beautiful life for yourself? Because I am the evidence.
Me too.
Yes.
Wow, that's powerful. So, what role does faith play in the whole thing for you?
Well,
Everybody has what makes them tick, what motivates
yeah,
them. I see from you there's a lot of faith talk. What role does faith actually um, um, play in your life and what you do?
faith is huge for me. Without my faith, I couldn't have made it through any of this. Without my faith, I couldn't do anything. I wouldn't be here right now on this show because a lot of times, I'm currently still going through things. Sometimes I still don't feel like getting up in the morning. I still don't feel like pressing through, but I know that there's a bigger call. I know that, I got this, message from you guys randomly. I know that okay, I must have an assignment. God must have, someone needs to hear what I have to say. I always keep that on the forefront. When Ebony doesn't feel like doing anything, it's like, no, I have to get up. I have to be about my father's business because I'm alive, I'm still breathing, I made it out of a situation that could have took me out. So there has to be a purpose for it. And so I'm really big on, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? Let me just step out of the way. I don't feel like showing up. I don't feel like doing this. Everything's going bad, but my faith is what carries me through everything.
And what is your faith?
So I believe in Jesus. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. That's my faith.
Awesome. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that we knew what we want.
Yes, definitely.
In today's world, everybody can say anything. So I just want to make sure. But
Yes.
mom, coach, um, public speaker, um, advocate for women who have gone through domestic violence. Um, you've gone through a lot, and you've come out on the other side. You
Yes.
have been broken, completely not shattered. Obviously, not shattered at all. I'm
Yes.
not going to mention your age. I just read it. I'm like, whoa, she doesn't look it. But yes, who you are. You're on
Yeah.
your bio. So, um, God is definitely using you in this season to do some great work and
Yes.
keep that dream alive. I want you to
Thank
take no talk about the book for a second, and then I'm going to make you take a minute, look straight in the camera, and speak to our audience globally, and share whatever it is that's in your heart before we end the show. I want to talk about the book.
Gotcha. Yes. So the book, I wrote the book. I actually took a whole sabbatical away from social media. Just, I mean, even from friends, my friends, they were like, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" I really went through a point of a really difficult last year was a really difficult year for me. I had three major court cases with my divorce, and um I was feeling just so lost. I was just like, God, like you got me out of this situation, but it's like I'm still dealing with this.
Sorry, something going on with the network. Um, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, back to Broken Nut. Shout out my guest, Ebony Nicole, from Breakdown to Breakout. She's completely broken out, I can tell. And we are back. Nicole, you were about to say something? Yes, about the book?
Yes. So I wrote the book in a time where I was just coming off the heels of just battling in court with my ex, three court cases. I had a divorce court case. And it was just a lot. So I wrote the book. It's basically me sharing. I share my journey of the unhealthy marriage that I was in and how it ultimately led me to have like a mental breakdown. I go through a lot of details about what I went through, what led up to it. And but then I'm on the other side of it. Like you said, I broke out. I broke through it. And so I talk about the key lessons that I learned, the strategies and everything that I have went through and have discovered to help me basically just reclaim my life. Just I feel like a lot of times we get stuck in situations and we think like this is the end all be all for us. And I am here to say that it is not. You definitely can get out of any situation. You definitely can rebuild your life. You definitely can create the life, the beautiful life that you want for yourself. And so that's what my book is about. It's a really short read. It's an ebook, but my big thing is I came out of a situation where I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. It had got physically abusive. When I left my ex-husband, the kids and I left with nothing but the clothes on our back. We left, my kids had their book bags. I had them put their books in there. They had their school uniforms. I had my computer bag with all of our important information in there, and we left and never looked back. When we moved into our own place, after we had been living with people, just me trying to figure out what we were going to do, we moved into our own place with nothing. We were on the floor with pallets. And my kids were happy. A lot of times I know I stayed in a situation longer than I should have because I'm like, how am I going to do this? I was financially dependent on that person. I had just started my business, so my business hadn't really taken off a lot, and I just didn't know how I was going to make it, but we made it. On the other side of it, we started off on the floor, pallets. After a month or so, I was able to furnish my whole apartment. My business took off, and now I'm here. I'm leaving Las Vegas, getting ready to move to Orange County, a beautiful place. My kids are going to like an awesome, amazing school. You know, it's just, I like to tell people that there is, gold at the end of the rainbow. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to do the work and you have to go through it. And I would be, I can't sit here and say that it's been easy. It's been a
Mhm.
journey. It's been hard. There's time, like I say, I still wake up and I'm just like, I have regret. Um, I have so much shame that I'm still dealing with. Been in therapy
Right.
years now that I'm still, but I know that are better. And I really feel like I'm walking on the other side of that. And I came out a winner. I would never think that this would be my life, that I would be divorced, that I would be a single mom of 4 kids, that I would even write a book like this, that I would even be telling my business like this. I know that, it happened for a reason. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to just, let God lead me and guide me to do whatever He has called me to do. So, my thing is, if you're in a situation like this, if you feel like you're in a situation where you're stuck, where there's no way out, there is definitely a way out. Reach out for help. You guys can reach out to me. I'm really big on that. I don't mind people sliding in my DMs, that needs some help, that needs like a little bit of advice, because I've overcome a lot. Me and my kids have been homeless. Like, we have gone without. There has been times where we didn't know what we were going to eat. I didn't have money, my phone getting cut off. And, I've been through all of that, but here I am on the other side of it and thriving.
Glory to God. Glory.
Yes. All glory to God.
Wow.
Yes.
Ebony, thank you for your time. I'm definitely going to have you back another session where we can talk some more. Our audience are asking questions, and then you're answering them as you go along. Thank you for making out time for us and Broken Not Shattered. And we hope to see you soon. And before we leave, famous 3 words: it's love, peace, and more grace. I just pray that whoever is watching, you got the message straight from someone who has been through it. Ebony Nicole, you've
Thank you.
broken up. Well done.
Yes.
Take care of
Thank you.
yourself. See you again
Thank you
soon.
for having
Bye.
me. Bye bye.
Thank you.